We just completed 3 days of awesome new games, long lines, and tons of excitement, and we're ready to compile our list of the top 5 Switch games of E3 2017. What's up, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. I've got Jake to my left, Gabe to my right, and we played a bunch this week. But some titles rose above the rest, and we're ready to divulge our list. Quick note before we start, though. Special mention to Metroid Samus Returns. It's not a Switch game, but it is absolutely incredible, and so we wanted to give a little time for that game to shine.
If it was a Switch game, it would. If the video was top 5 Nintendo games of E3, this would 100% be on the list. It looked absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. But given the criteria of Switch, it had to be shifted away.
Yes, maybe we send it somewhere to go hunt little Metroids. I don't know.
Port it to Switch.
Yes, port it.
That's what you got to do.
They asked them why it wasn't coming to Switch, and they just gave like a Nintendo answer. They're like, yeah.
It would have been glorious. But eventually we'll get that Metroid. For now, though, top 5 Switch games of E3. And the criteria was it had to exist. So unfortunately, Metroid Prime 4 doesn't quite cut it. It needed gameplay. We needed to see what was going on there. And it had to be like a functional game at some level. But we can begin with one that I know you love, Jake. Number 5, Yoshi.
Yeah, that game looks incredible. It may not like the most mechanically great or like the coolest play style. It does have some new things like where you can throw your eggs 3-dimensionally like to the back of the screen or towards the screen, which is a cool effect. But it looks visually stunning, and the paper crafting is amazing. I want to push the giraffe toilet paper roll cart all around. I want to get the cardboard rhinos to run in a race. It just looks so cool. And for even if the game isn't fun, which I'm pretty sure it will be, I would play it just because of the visuals are so dang cool.
And it looks like mechanically they're doing some nice things like the screen rotation elements and
yeah.
Woolly World, Epic Yarn. Those games were exciting because it allowed you to interact with those elements of the world, but I feel like they've evolved that and are pushing it more deeper into the actual inner working mechanics of the game.
It has 2 beautiful things: Papercraft and Shy Guys. What more do you want?
That's absolutely true, and we think it's going to be titled something different later on.
Absolutely. There's no way they just call the game Yoshi and put it on Switch.
Although that would be kind of cool.
No, it can be like Yoshi, Paper Crafter. I don't know.
Paper Crafter. Good thing we don't name
Yoshi Arts and Yoshi Craft.
Paper Mayoshi.
Nintendo, do not hire us to name your games, please.
Also has co-op.
Yes.
Furthering that Switch multiplayer.
I think every first party Nintendo game is gonna have co-op of some kind, other than Zelda.
Yeah, there's none. DLC Pack 3
probably won't.
Prince Sidon and Mipha go on a co-op adventure for the 3rd DLC installment.
That's gonna be a wacky adventure.
That's exactly what we want. It's a deep blue sea surfing.
Just sand seal racing and co-op sand seal racing.
Mipha versus Sidon.
What? No, just you control the sand seal.
You get the amiibo and you unlock the DLC pack.
All right.
You get the secret Prince Sidon amiibo.
What is number 4?
Yoshi, can't wait for it. Hope it's early 2018. Number 4 is Xenoblade II. Now, this one would be higher on our list, but it was not playable at E3.
It wasn't playable, but they showed a good 45 minutes of gameplay during the Treehouse. They also had a little bit more revealing information during one of the interviews that made me very happy. The original Xenoblade, a little bit more linear. It wasn't as open as Chronicles X, and they have said that with Chronicles 2, they want to make sure to go back to a little bit more of linear. It's not as open, and it's telling a more cohesive story. So that makes me very happy, even though I love Xenoblade Chronicles X. The other thing that was interesting was they're kind of taking a little bit of a Final Fantasy approach, where this isn't really connected to the first game at all.
Okay.
Completely different characters. The land is the same, the world is the same, but different story, different characters. There's no carryover. So that's going to be good to welcome newcomers that didn't get to play the original, because the original was such a limited release. I don't know if you remember this, but it was sold out, and GameStop was reselling it for more than it was worth. So they had a little bit of that going on with the original. So hopefully this one a little bit more mainstream. It's going to be a digital purchase on day one, so everybody that wants to play Xenoblade will be able to. And again, just maybe they might have a big new franchise on their hands, even though it's Monolith making it, and not.
Well, it's already the 3rd game, which is kind of crazy. I don't think anyone expected that we get 3 full releases. And I do like the fact that it is going back to more of that traditional style. For me, Chronicles X was an impressive game. It just didn't gel with me, so I'm very excited to have more of a core RPG on Switch. right around holidays. It's snowing. It's winter. Your family is doing weird stuff. You spend some time
That's
with
all
them.
they do.
You spend time with them. You have fun. But then night rolls around and you got to get out there and they're penny licking. You're playing Xenoblade. It all works out.
Yeah.
I also like that this comes out more holiday season, and like Mario Rabbids comes out in August, so they give time to beat that RPG, and then you get to roll into a new RPG.
Well, Xenoblade is way bigger, I feel like. So.
Well, sure, but
And
they put out Rabbids before.
They're
that.
different. Again, even though they are both RPGs, it does go back to that Nintendo covering all the genres for us. Plus, Jake, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has Rex, and to me, you are Rex because you
I'm
don't
so
have...
glad that I have a cameo in every Nintendo game that's coming out.
Yeah.
You're a very versatile actor.
Yes, sir.
Number 3 on our list is
Game we just mentioned.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And yes, it's not technically developed by Nintendo,
It's a Switch game.
but it's a Switch game.
Yeah.
And it bears Nintendo's characters, and it's freaking awesome.
Yes, sir. Again, the more I see about this game, the more I like it. It just gets better and better.
My favorite part about Rabbids is seeing Jake's like 180 on it. Like when he first saw it, he's like, "Oh, I
yeah.
hate the Rabbids." Like, you know, he was completely dismissive of it. He wanted no part of it. But you know, now he seems to be a little bit more into
My
it.
new favorite character is Spawny. He's so innocent. He just has these big, cute goggles, and he just makes craziness happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't wait to see what other crossovers he makes.
And we got to play a long demo, and then we got to see even more footage at the Treehouse where they showcased the Rabbit Kong boss, and they showcased even more of the elements and how much versatility you have with your characters in terms of attacks and dashes and melee and weapons.
The battle
so
is better,
much going on.
Better scale up to be able to encompass all of the abilities that you can use, because if the battles stay basic, then it's overkill with all the mechanics that they created. But I'm hoping that it does ramp up, and then you have like these big, huge, epic battles where you are using your 4 attack movements and then plus your weapons and techniques.
Plus, this game gave me one of my favorite E3 moments, like the tweet about the director, like just like crying because he's so proud of the game. Like that man.
Good old Davide.
And then you have a picture with him, Gabe.
Yeah, I met the guy and I almost shot him with a bullet bill.
You can frame the cartridge and your picture with Davide on your wall.
Yes.
I also like, that after a number of years of let down Mario RPG titles, they went with one that seems to be pushing the mechanics and seems to be a deep experience. And as long as the difficulty's there to match it, there's a lot there that you'd expect from a more, traditional turn-based or tactical RPG. And I love just seeing Mario in that situation. It's so weird to see him taking cover and running and ducking. We always talk about, like, would Splatoon, be just as interesting if it had Mario? And, like, obviously that's a different discussion, but I like seeing Mario like take cover and pop out his blaster. It's super cool.
And today the XCOM developers kind of like talked about it. Like,
oh,
hey,
really?
Yeah. They asked them, hey, you saw Mario Rabbids, right? And like, it's an obvious like influence. And they're like, yeah, we think it's cool. Yeah.
That's good. Very good. And that one's coming out soon. That's like 2.5 months away.
Yeah.
So it'll be here before you know it. And number 2 is here before you know it. And that is the wondrous Splatoon 2.
I'm all about Salmon Run.
It
looks amazing. And my favorite part about it is because if you think back to the Horde days of Gears of War 2, when this game mode first became popular, like it was like very hardcore. Like you could get super into it. And with Salmon Run, they've done this thing where you can scale the difficulty by 5%, all the way from 5% to 100. But then if you're like crazy enough, you can go all the way to 200 by 5 level increments if you keep working at it. And the amount of time you have to devote to that is going to be insane, and the mode itself just looks really, really fun.
Yeah, it brings me back to the days when we'd played either Horde or Firefight in Halo like over and over and over, and it sounds like Salmon Run may have that awesome replayability with, like you mentioned, the difficulty scaling and how far you can push that. And I think Splatoon 2, because it's been revealed for so long, because some people have the impression this was just, Splatoon 1 DX, I feel like it got kind of pushed under the rug for E3, but like it had a very big presence at E3. It is a very big game for Nintendo, and it is a stellar one. It releases July 21st. It's a month away, and this game is going to be like the multiplayer jam of the summer.
And Gabe, you said that like in Salmon Run, they announced that you can unlock new weapons that you can carry over into multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that they're like tying it all together.
Like new gear and stuff, yeah. So
Yeah.
They did confirm that. Also the introduction of like events where like, just randomly when you're playing online, like fog will come out of nowhere and you have to deal with the like repercussions of not being able to see when there's like enemies coming at you. And I'm curious to see what other types of events they have. I can't speak. I don't know why.
Got some salmon in your teeth.
I might have some salmon. But yeah, I'm curious about what the events are going to be like, because Destiny does events like pretty well. What if they introduce some of that stuff over to Splatoon?
Yeah, and just again, more of the multiplayer, watching the tournament, such a fun game, such a pure experience, I feel, and they showed off more single player that continues to impress. The first one, I feel, was an underrated half of that game. The bosses were really ingenious. I think the boss in Splatoon are some of the best that Nintendo has made.
Now you're going to be able to use like other weapons, because at first when you're first playing the level, you have a weapon that's assigned to you. You have to beat it with that, and then once you do beat it with that, then you have the ability to pick different weapons and try to like tackle it in a different way. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in that single player as well. They had the Treehouse presentation today. It was like a good 40 minutes of gameplay, so I'm into it.
And we talk, in gaming culture, I guess, about how year after year something like Call of Duty is a great package because it provides you like zombies and competitive multiplayer and single player, and Splatoon 2 has fleshed itself out to be something like that, where like this is a really impressive value, I think. Yeah. And I think it's going to be one of these Switch's best games and one of their best sellers, and one that like please do not let fall under the radar. Splatoon 1 ended up selling really well on Wii U, and I know that there is a fervor around Splatoon 2, but because it's been announced for so long, I feel like it got a little overlooked at E3, and we just want to make sure we bring attention because that game is shaping up to be outstanding.
Shout out to ARMS. It's out now. Go buy that.
Yeah, ARMS. We wrestled with ARMS on our list. We arm wrestled with ARMS on our list. But since it's out,
the game's out. Go try it. We've been playing it. Well, I've been playing it today. It's really fun. So
yeah. Number one, I'm sure you can guess what it is. Super Mario Odyssey.
Nope, it's Kirby.
Super Mario Odyssey.
All right.
How could it be anything else? That is a phenomenal evolution of Mario, and the more we see of it, the more awesome it looks. They revealed the co-op gameplay on the final day, where one player takes control of Mario, one player takes control of Cappy. We've got to see extended looks at new kingdoms. We've got to see boss battles. We've got to see Moon Collection, and we've got to play it ourselves. And it's a very innovative Mario game in the sense that it seems to combine elements of 64 Sunshine with some of the more recent Mario titles in a open world setting that encourages you to explore and experience Mario mechanics all over the world.
Jake and I were just watching some gameplay before we recorded this, and the things that Mario can do now, like as far as his jumps and just his controls in general, like there's a lot there now.
His moveset has been enhanced.
Way enhanced, at least by what we've seen. Also finding like secrets in the kingdoms. Like there's this like ice cave in
Sand Kingdom, Toasterina.
Toasterina. I always forget that word. There's this like ice cave that you have to find, and like you have to like the video we saw. It seems like they had to play multiple times to like figure out where, because you had to fall in like a sand hole like to find this thing. It was like really weird. I don't know how they found it, but
it's interesting because it's shaping up. It looks like almost. People are like saying like, oh, there's not really like a hub world. But in my mind, the more I've been seeing of it, it's almost like each kingdom is its own hub world, and then you branch off into like specific courses or levels that then like you like to get a moon. And so there's like stuff to do in the main areas, but then there's also like side areas to branch off. Like you go up into the clouds of New Donk City to like complete a course up there to get a moon, or you fall into the sand hole to complete a course underground, or you do the 8-bit things. Like so, it feels like almost each world is its own hub world that then branches off into like a much larger map.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it, as if like the central village is the hub, and then there's like a path of a level, out this way and a path of a level out that way. And so it's almost like merging levels within a hub to create a fully realized Mario universe.
And it seems like how they're introducing so many ways that you can traverse faster. There's obviously like his roll and his running and his jumping. But then there's also like the Jaxi, which is in the Sand Kingdom. It's like the dog thing you see in the trailer that he's riding, and you can pay with currency to ride him around, and then like you can get to A to B really fast. And the worlds are pretty big. And then
and also the fast travel between checkpoints.
Yeah, so and that too. So like there's just a lot of ways you can travel around super fast. And in the map that you pull up, the pamphlet, it shows like that some of the worlds might be different sizes potentially and have like different number of inhabitants and stuff. And so
plus the whole like day-night stuff. Like there's a lot there that we still don't know like every single detail about. But
currency, being able to purchase things in the Mario game, and
outfits.
It's like Rabbids, where it's another game where the more I see, the more excited I get because the more expansive it is.
And we've talked about it before, so we'll briefly mention it. But Cappy, that mechanic, introducing basically just an unbelievable amount of power-ups via this one mechanic is awesome. We saw
they've even saying like weird little things like if you become a Goomba, Goomba's feet don't slip. So if you go on ice, like he won't slip. Like where where did they come up with that? Well, such little details.
We were worried. I was worried like no fire flower nor whatever. But we were seeing on the Treehouse today that like he captured a Fire Bros and was able then to throw fireballs. Yeah, so like that's so freaking cool. Or what's the one that you always mention? My favorite. Uproot, yeah, that guy, to lift platforms and
get up high.
Just It's a fantastical example
I
of
just can't
passionate
get freaking chain
developers.
chomp. My goodness.
Ooh, I want to put it out there just because I like predictions. Final battle, capture Bowser.
Okay.
Maybe.
It's got to be it.
Maybe.
The Brutals, the World, the Odyssey ship. It's going to be amazing. It's coming out in October. Those are our top 5 Switch games of E3 2017. Let us know your top 5, or maybe you have the same list as us. We want to know in the comments down below which are your choices. E3 is a wrap, but we have plenty more content for you. So make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying these videos, enjoying E3. Subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and its epic lineup for the rest of 2017 and beyond. For myself, Jake, and Gabe, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching. We love you. Until next time, Switch Force